Ben Askren was never just a fighter. He was an enigma, a force of nature wrapped in a deceptively awkward package. From the moment he stepped onto the wrestling mat, it was clear he was different. He didn't possess the textbook physique of a traditional athlete, but what he lacked in aesthetics, he more than made up for in grit, determination, and an uncanny ability to impose his will on his opponents. He was a puzzle few could solve. His style was unorthodox, his movements unpredictable, and his relentless pressure was enough to break even the most seasoned competitors. Opponents would spend countless hours studying his tapes, trying to decipher the secrets to his success, but they would always come up short. His relentless wrestling, honed by years as a two-time NCAA Division I national champion, wasn't just a skill, it was an art form. He didn't just execute moves, he crafted them, molded them to his unique style, and weaponized them against anyone who dared to stand in his way. It became his trademark. The funky style, as it was affectionately known, was a blend of brute strength, technical precision, and an almost preternatural understanding of leverage and body mechanics. Opponents knew what was coming, they knew the takedown was inevitable, the relentless pressure was unavoidable, but couldn't stop it. They could prepare, they could strategize, but when the bell rang, they were helpless against the funky onslaught. He dominated in Bellator and won championship, showcasing his unique brand of wrestling to a global audience. He wasn't just winning, he was dismantling his opponents, leaving them battered, bruised, and utterly demoralized. Remaining undefeated for nearly a decade, his reign was a testament to his unwavering dedication, his relentless training, and his unshakable belief in his own abilities. Askren's grappling neutralized opponents. He suffocated their attacks, nullified their strengths, and turned their own weight against them. Once he got the takedown, it was his world. He controlled the pace, dictated the position, and slowly but surely broke their will to fight. He wasn't flashy, he didn't rely on spinning kicks or flying submissions, but his effectiveness was undeniable. He was a master of the fundamentals, a technician who understood the nuances of wrestling better than almost anyone else in the sport. His outspoken, witty personality, Funky Ben, was as captivating as his fighting style, made him a must-watch figure. He wasn't afraid to speak his mind, to challenge the status quo, and to poke fun at himself and his opponents. He brought energy and confidence, a swagger that was both endearing and intimidating, always backing up his words with performance. He talked the talk, but he also walked the walk, proving time and time again that he was one of the best wrestlers to ever transition to mixed martial arts. Even after retiring from MMA, the competitive fire still burned within him. He couldn't resist a challenge. The allure of the unknown was too strong to ignore. Stepping into the boxing ring against Jake Paul. It was a move that surprised many, but for Askren, it was simply another opportunity to test himself, to push his limits, and to prove that he was capable of anything he set his mind to. Win or lose, he showed a willingness to face the unknown, to step outside of his comfort zone, and to embrace the challenge, regardless of the outcome. Ben Askren was a competitor through and through, a warrior who never backed down from a fight, whether it was in the wrestling room, the MMA cage, or the boxing ring. A man whose spirit seemed unbreakable. He embodied the true essence of a fighter, resilience, determination, and an unwavering belief in himself. He'd faced the world's toughest, conquered the most formidable opponents, built a legendary career, and always came out on top. He had achieved everything he had set out to do in the world of combat sports, leaving an indelible mark on the sport and inspiring countless others along the way. But his greatest fight was yet to come, a battle that would test his courage, his strength, and his will to survive in ways he could never have imagined. And it wouldn't be inside a cage or ring. This fight would be against an invisible enemy, one that threatened to rob him of everything he held dear. The next battle would test every ounce of his resolve, pushing him to his absolute limit, forcing him to confront his own mortality. And it would change his life forever. This was a fight unlike any other, a fight for his very existence. The end of May seemed ordinary for Ben, a stretch of days indistinguishable from any other. Little did he know, the normalcy he cherished was about to be shattered, replaced by a harrowing ordeal that would test his strength and resilience in ways he could never have imagined. Family time, filled with laughter and connection, coaching, mentoring young athletes, and instilling in them the values of discipline and perseverance. Staying fit, a testament to his commitment to a healthy and active lifestyle. These were the cornerstones of his life, the things that defined him. Then, subtly at first, a cough and fatigue crept in, like unwelcome guests at a familiar gathering. He shrugged it off, used to pushing through pain, dismissing it as a minor inconvenience, a temporary setback in his otherwise robust health. But this time, his body didn't bounce back with its usual vigor. The fatigue lingered, the cough intensified, and a growing sense of unease began to settle in. The illness worsened rapidly. What started as a minor nuisance quickly escalated into a full-blown assault on his system. Breathing became a struggle, each breath a labored effort, a stark reminder of the body's fragility. Amy, his wife, grew alarmed as Ben's strength faded, witnessing the rapid decline of the man she loved, the vibrant energy that once defined him now replaced by a worrying fragility. The man who once went 5 rounds in a cage, a formidable force of strength and endurance, now struggled to cross a room, his body weakened, his spirit tested. Doctors diagnosed severe pneumonia, a relentless infection that was rapidly consuming his lungs. His lungs were failing, their capacity diminished, their ability to sustain life compromised. The infection was aggressive, causing immense damage, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Hospitalization was immediate. There was no time to waste. Every second counted in the race against the rapidly advancing illness. He was rushed to intensive care, the last line of defense against a relentless enemy. Despite doctors' efforts, his oxygen levels plummeted, a terrifying sign that his body was losing the battle. A ventilator was needed, a mechanical lifeline to assist his failing lungs, but even that wasn't enough to stem the tide of the infection. The infection had caused irreversible lung damage, leaving scars that would forever alter his ability to breathe. The champion who once suffocated opponents with calculated precision and unwavering strength was now being suffocated by his own body, a cruel twist of fate that defied all logic. The situation was dire, a critical juncture where the line between life and death blurred. A life-threatening crisis unfolding at terrifying speed, leaving everyone scrambling for solutions. Ben's greatest fight had begun, a battle against an invisible enemy that threatened to steal his life, and the outcome was uncertain, hanging precariously in the balance. Everything now depended on a miracle, a glimmer of hope in the face of overwhelming adversity. Inside the sterile confines of the ICU, Ben Askren was engaged in the most critical fight of his life. Every beep of the machines, every hushed conversation of the medical staff, underscored the gravity of his situation. He was battling for every breath, his body weary but his spirit, somewhere deep inside, still flickering with the will to survive. The medical scans painted a stark picture. His lungs, ravaged by disease, were beyond repair, scarred and unable to perform their vital function. They were failing him, trapping him in a suffocating embrace. The medical team convened, their faces etched with concern. After careful deliberation and weighing all options, they arrived at a life-altering conclusion. Only a double lung transplant could save him from the brink. It was a daunting prospect, a high-stakes gamble, but it was his only hope. The urgent search for a suitable donor began immediately, a desperate race against time. Every second counted as Ben's condition deteriorated. The clock ticked relentlessly, each moment amplifying the anxiety and the stakes. Ben was placed at the very top of the national transplant list, his name flagged with the highest priority. Forms were filled, tests were run, and the complex machinery of the transplant system whirred into action, all focused on finding a match that could offer him a second chance. His condition was undeniably critical. Every beat of his heart, every shallow breath was monitored with unwavering attention. The ICU became his world, a place of beeping machines and constant vigilance. His family, his rock, waited anxiously in the sterile hospital waiting room, suspended between hope and gnawing fear. Each passing hour stretched into an eternity, filled with whispered prayers and silent anxieties. Then, finally, after what seemed like an endless torment, the phone rang. A potential donor had been found. The news rippled through the hospital, a surge of cautious optimism amidst the sterile environment. Relief washed over Amy and the family, a wave of emotion so powerful it almost brought them to their knees. But this joy was mixed with the somber reality, a bittersweet understanding of the situation. They knew that someone's profound loss, a family's unimaginable grief, was the source of their miracle, a moment of silent gratitude for the unknown donor and their selfless act. The surgical team, a well-oiled machine of expertise and precision, prepared meticulously for the high-risk, complex procedure. Every instrument was checked, every protocol reviewed, ensuring they were ready for the challenge ahead. The hours-long operation commenced, a delicate dance of skill and technology. The surgeons worked tirelessly, their focus unwavering as they navigated the intricate network of blood vessels and tissues. For Amy and the rest of the family, the agonizing wait stretched on, each minute feeling like an eternity. They paced the hospital corridor, their hearts pounding with a mixture of hope and trepidation. Finally, after what felt like a lifetime, the lead surgeon emerged, his face etched with exhaustion but his eyes conveying a message of hope. The surgery was a success. Ben had been given new lungs, a precious gift, a new chance to breathe freely and deeply. The promise of a future he thought he'd lost was now within reach. But the immediate danger wasn't entirely over. The road to recovery was still fraught with potential complications. The post-operative period was absolutely critical, requiring constant monitoring and meticulous care to prevent rejection and infection. He remained heavily sedated, allowing his body to rest and begin the long process of healing. His body was incredibly fragile, supported by a network of machines, a ventilator assisting his breathing, IV drips delivering essential medications, all working in concert to keep him alive. The family's long ordeal continued, their vigil unwavering as they kept watch by his bedside, offering silent support and prayers. But now, a tangible sense of hope had returned, a beacon of light guiding them through the darkness. Ben remained unconscious, unaware of the incredible journey he had just undertaken. He was blissfully unaware of the monumental battle that had just been fought, the tireless efforts of the medical team who had poured their hearts and souls into saving his life. Every breath he took now was a precious gift, a testament to the power of medical science and the selflessness of organ donation. But the champion's fight, the ultimate test of his resilience and determination, was still far from over. The long and arduous road to recovery would be the next great test, a challenge that would require all his strength, courage, and unwavering spirit. Through it all, Amy Askren was Ben's anchor. She never left his side, making tough decisions and advocating for him. Amy became the bridge between Ben and the world, updating family and friends. She kept a journal, documenting every moment for Ben to one day read. The Askren family rallied, creating a network of love and support. Their unity allowed Amy to focus on Ben's survival. The doctors provided care, but it was the family's strength that fueled hope. Amy's courage was heroic. She was more than a wife, she was a guardian. Their love became the foundation for Ben's recovery. When Ben woke up, confusion overwhelmed him. He remembered feeling sick. Then nothing. Tubes, wires, and an unfamiliar hospital room greeted him. Amy explained the ordeal. Pneumonia, the ventilator, the transplant. She handed him her journal, chronicling his lost month. Reading it, Ben pieced together his own story. His fight for life, Amy's strength, the family's hope. The journal was a testament to love and resilience. Gratitude washed over him for Amy's devotion and the burden she carried. The experience gave him a new perspective on life and love. He realized how close he'd come to the edge, and how much he owed to those who stood by him. With new lungs and a new outlook, Ben faced the world anew. Ben's physical transformation was shocking. The powerful frame of a champion was gone. He'd lost nearly 70 pounds. His body, once built for battle, was now frail and weak. He couldn't walk or sit up without help. Every movement was a struggle, a reminder of how close he'd come to death. Recovery meant starting from scratch, relearning basic functions. Physical therapists guided him through simple exercises. Standing for the first time took all his willpower. The mind of a champion was trapped in a body that couldn't obey. The journey ahead would be long and grueling, but Ben was determined to fight his way back. As news spread, a wave of support surrounded Ben. Family, friends, and the wrestling community rallied behind him. MMA fighters, promoters, and fans, even rivals, sent messages of encouragement. The outpouring of love was a powerful medicine for Ben and Amy. When Ben awoke, he was moved by the support from all corners of his life. He realized he'd made an impact beyond the cage. The community's kindness lifted his spirits and fueled his recovery. He wasn't alone, an army was cheering him on. That made all the difference. Ben Askren's fight for survival is rooted in a legacy of combat. He was a 4-time NCAA All-American, 2-time national champion, and Olympic wrestler. His funky style and dominance led to an 87-match win streak. Transitioning to MMA, he captured titles in Bellator and won championship, remaining undefeated for years. His grappling smothered opponents, earning him a reputation as an unsolvable problem. Fans debated how he'd fare in the UFC. He finally arrived, winning his debut but suffering his first losses. Despite mixed UFC results, his legacy as a two-promotion champion and Olympian was secure. Ben's athleticism and willpower set the stage for his current battle. Now, the fight is for his life, not a title. His history of resilience is the backdrop for this new challenge. The stakes have never been higher, but the spirit remains the same. Today, Ben Askren is on the long road to recovery. Each day brings small victories. Walking farther, breathing deeper, regaining strength. His story is now one of resilience and hope, inspiring fans and athletes alike. The heart of a champion beats strong, even when the body is weak. Ben's journey is a lesson in courage and gratitude. He's thankful for his donor, his medical team, and the love that surrounds him. The experience has changed him, deepening his appreciation for life. He's no longer fighting for titles. He's fighting for every moment. Ben Askren's greatest victory is his will to survive and inspire. His story reminds us all, the human spirit is unbreakable.